Yes, we have been talking about ultimate cause of suffering is ignorance. We already understood that the ignorance is caused by the restlessness, and the restlessness is caused by the impurities of the mind, and the impurities of the mind is controlled by the commander in chief, and their siblings are likes and dislikes, sorrow and happiness, and desire. We discussed desire, stress, and repeat sense of the desire. So we need to still understand what is the problem with the likes and dislikes, and what is the problem with the sorrow and the happiness. I don't like something, what's the big deal? So we need to understand that part. Is it really a big deal? Yes, it is the big deal, because that is where the Buddha says the world is suffering. Fact is that if you closely examine our life, 24 hours, we discover that our entire life is revolving around likes and dislikes. That causes sorrow and happiness. And then the sorrow and happiness creates a series of actions that we always love to take every day. Everything is okay in your family? Yes, everything is okay, but I have certain issues with my honey. Last week, the couple told me likes and dislikes. So, we will talk in detail about that likes and dislikes. So, we have been understanding we should have that knowledge installed, assimilated in the intellect. And if that happens, the life will change completely. Impurities of the mind we have been talking about, so long as the desire to seek happiness in the world outside will remain. This ignorance will continue. Desire for seeking happiness. Desire for seeking happiness by a cup of coffee. I like cup of tea, I don't like. You can add, you can just find out dislikes and dislikes are hidden behind all our actions. So those impurities, then the master cautions, warns that as long as all our actions are guided, dictated, influenced by dislikes and dislikes, we will not leave the effort. We will keep doing the action. Why? There is no perfect like, there is no perfect dislike. No, everything is okay. I love, for example, I'm just giving, every time, the word honey comes to my mind. Now, everything is okay, but his or her nose, should have been little different. Then she or he should have been handsome or beautiful. I can give you millions of examples. Like means the commander in chief is extremely active, deep inside. So the master wants that action cannot alone lead to awakening, to permanent peace and happiness. That is why I used to refer, fully busy. Fully busy because of these dualities. So good karma or good effort alone is insufficient. That is one reason majority of the younger generation had an aversion towards the religion. That we will understand. Gradually, we will also go deeper into. So the practice remains fruitless. Now, that action part means, oh, I have done meditation for so many years and there is nothing in it. That is why I left it. Can you leave your mind with the ignorance? That is the solution. Otherwise, everything is beautiful. So now, the moment we talk of the mind, Master reminds us the impurity. Purity of the mind is essential. And the first thing is very important. I was studying one text, written by another master. How I interact with the world outside. Two options are there. Either I interact with the commander-in-chief or I interact with 3C. No, it has nothing to do with being comfortable. It has to do with connecting, contributing, and celebrating. Every time, 24/7. Your honey is angry, but you are ready to connect and contribute. Let me understand your anger, honey. Commander-in-chief says, hell with you. See that? That is the beauty. So before we how we purify the mind in our daily effort and actions? By connecting, by contributing, by celebrating our life. Every time, every moment is a celebration. I believe you all are getting it. Even if not, say yes. So then what happens after applying this conventional method of purifying the mind? You will discover that the mind is now restful, fairly it is calm. You wake up in the morning with that state of the calmness. The mind is not attracting those impurities of the likes and dislikes. You see that every day is exactly the same day. My mind projects it differently. When the mind projects differently, then it becomes a good morning and a bad morning. I believe you all are getting it. So then once we have those glimpses and the feelings every day, I like pasta, but I'm served with something else, and the mind reminds you, eat to live or live to eat. You take it. But I hate eating this. Sometime you don't complain to your mom, Sam. I'm just telling you. Oh, let me take it. Don't feel when I'm pointing to the Sam that I'm criticizing anyone. In one group, it happened that, she felt that I'm criticizing. She said, I'm not attending your session. Thank you very much. There is no pointing out. Please, don't take that way. So you see that, that is also a part of the endurance. That is where we evolve, we rise in consciousness. Now, I'm talking easily because we have already prepared ourselves, we have become a seeker. But that one of the most important thing, do you still recall and remember? I invoke the blessing. I create an auspicious moment. Mind will create a moment with the likes and dislikes, with the impurities of the mind. Every day I wake up in the morning And I say, no, let me invoke the blessing. Let me create an auspiciousness. How can I create an auspiciousness when I have an extreme headache? Thanks God, at least I am alive. That's why I'm experiencing the headache. Now let me treat headache. Are you getting it? I'm not conscious. I'm not alive. How can I know that I have a headache? I have a headache. Now, headache is caused by someone else outside. Again, hit the mind with the knowledge. That is the way we have to do the self inquiry. So, the ultimate method is the self inquiry. This is what we have been talking about. Just to remind you, we will go in detail and understand what exactly causes the likes and dislikes in the mind. What causes the desire, hesitation, stress, struggle, and the repeat desire, that trio? And what causes the sorrow and the happiness? How it happened in my mind. And then the mind keeps on revolving my life towards that likes and dislikes, towards that sorrow and the happiness. That is what the Buddha said, world is suffering. That world we created. That world we created. I believe you all have understood the importance of conventional method. I will put in a different way. We recognize the society, family, relationship, our effort, our business, our professional life only in a waking state. And we have the problem of likes and dislikes, sorrow and happiness only in the waking state. So when we apply the conventional method, when in a waking state, do you see that? Otherwise, the moment we wake up, that impurity of the mind is has a strong pressure on my head. Do you see that? You wake up in the morning, it's a good morning, it's a bad morning. The moment you meet members of your family, I don't like that. I'm not interested. I'm not talking. Or I'm talking. Both are. Have a problem. We are not normal. Do you see that? Don't say it never happened to you. It happened to everyone, including me also. Every moment, we carry that burden. We keep on continuing. And that goes on accumulating those impressions. And the time comes, we blast. We do not remain calm. So only in a waking state. Now see, waking state plus auspiciousness plus conventional method. As far as my relationship to the world is concerned, I am free. Why? I find an opportunity to connect, contribute, and celebrate. So, what is going to happen? You have dropped and dissolved the major part of the burden that causes the sense of anxiety, reaction, duality, conflict. You have already dropped. Terry has dropped. Again, don't think that I'm pointing in a negative sense. So, this is the meaning how to live wisely. Do you still recall and remember? I'm developing the basis of likes and dislikes. Then, Master finds out Are you worthy of suffering? An answer is big no. How? In the presence of the wisdom. I instantly recognize, I have an experience, maybe of anxiety, maybe of reaction, maybe of a duality, but I recognize I have a cognitive ability. It is because of these impurities of the mind. And then I start working on it. It will happen. It will continue for maybe a couple of weeks, months, or a year, depending on our level of awareness. But as you continue, pursue the path, you will recognize it is so easy. It is damn easy to take care. Regarding Ashok, I wrote to Jerry. So I can, sometime when I explain these things, people get upset that why you are privacy issue. I believe that with Ashok there is no privacy issue. Last year, his son got married, and I knew the habit and attitude of Ashok, and also all Indians have more or less the same attitude, including me. We try to dictate over our son and the daughter. At least this is not there in US, or it's indirect. So every time I talked to Ashok privately, I said, don't say anything to this couple. They are living in your house. So I explained to him the importance of connecting, celebrating, contributing. Don't say anything. Normally, we have a lot of complaint, look at this, my son keeps watching the TV. I said, no, that is none of your business. Stop completely. What happened? Simply you are connecting and you are contributing, you are celebrating. Instead of any issue, they build up such a strong bond. First time his son called me about the accident of Ashok, he said, for dad, I can do anything. I will spend all the money. They are still in observation, and you find out the doctor, and in US, now I'm ready to spend all the money to bring him to US to get the best treatment. So I know from where these thoughts and ideas come. Just couple of years, there was always a blame and complaint. That is the power of this journey. I just talked to him. We undermine, we don't give importance to it. And where lies what happened? My mind is totally a blank, a transparent screen. It does not have any likes and dislikes. It does not have a sense of reaction. Just by such a simple step. It takes time to build that. You may not be giving such an importance to these small principles which is understood. Oh, it's such a simple principle. Do you still remember that I told you the story of this woman uh, whose daughter, this woman supported the daughter for her school in the car, and one day she found the car seat was burnt by the cigarette. And she called me immediately and she said, I'm not going to pay anything for her school and for the car. I said, that is why you were paying. to bring the commander in chief in your relationship. What should I do? I said, keep paying. Find out the way how to connect, contribute, and celebrate. I can give you hundreds of examples. Once the mind, intellect is settled in these very easy little principles, you'll find a tremendous change in your life. So then comes the ignorance is the root of all the sorrow. That is what Master concluded. Ignorance alone is the cause of all the stress and the suffering. So, what is the way? The way is self inquiry. So, how many steps we have in the self inquiry? We have to listen and learn from a teacher. Why from a teacher? Because this teacher was a student first. So, he knows what happens to the life of a seeker. So I can easily point out and observe what is happening in your life. But if I simply study the books, it will not work. The book does not tell you that you are showing your ego and you claim that you have understood. Book is not a conscious entity. Are you getting it? With a pride that I know it's a positive ego, with a pride I say that I have been with him for 26 years with my master. It's a pride moment for me. My mind thinks that why I have not been with him for my entire life. It is one way to use the ego, and there are other ways to use the ego, we know it. Ignorance alone is the cause of all the suffering. What is ignorance? I know. Oh, you are using I know? Yes. I know. Can you think of it? I know that I don't know my real self. I know that I don't know my real self. So, no. But what happens by this statement? Why you are stressing it? Instant humility comes. Are you getting it? I know that I don't know my real self. Commander in chief is destroyed. A sense of humility takes over. In that state of the humility, do you still remember? The humility results into Vidya Dadati Vinayam. Now let me listen and learn these principles. So knowledge goes into the head, it results into the humility. The humility awakens me to the inner qualifications naturally. But I don't know what are those inner qualifications. So the teacher makes you aware, oh, you are already a seeker. And that inner qualification results into, what the verse says, Vidya, Danati Vinayam, Vinayam Dadati Patratam, Patratat Dhanam Apnoti. So inner qualification leads to external and inner wealth. What is external wealth? You have already started connecting, contributing. Don't you think that Ashok's wealth was being his son who is taking care of him? Don't see that, I have heard a lot of talks. Uh, Law of attraction. You can be a billionaire. I'm not going there. You can compare that. I just pointed out. His son taking care present in the hospital 24 by 7 is more than $1 billion. That is how we learn. Are you getting it? That we ignore. That we ignore. Think. Just so change the way. Inner, and what about inner qualification? Then we become a seeker. With those qualifications, there we start the journaling. Listening and learning is the first step. Contemplation and reflection. You have been sharing your experiences. That is nothing but reflection. But you have to assimilate that reflection into our head completely so that our thought, speech, and action changes. And followed by the practice. So, what happens? Last point before we start doing the practice. So, what happens? The life starts moving. At present, we are doing 50% practice and 50% knowledge. You are a seeker, there is a self check. You see in your life that you are able to maintain that level of awareness throughout the day. What it means? 60 by 40. 40% you need a practice and 60% knowledge. And it goes on increasing. The self-enquiry goes on increasing. It goes on removing your impurity. What is the destination? 100% knowledge. No practice. Why no practice? You live into that state. Why you need to do the practice? I have to reach home. You make that statement while you are already at home. How it is possible? You see, our masters, uses those arguments to have a conviction in the intellect. I'm already there into that state. Then because of the humility, because we are living the material life, the personal life, the professional life, the social life, we just spend an hour. What a big deal. We spend an hour or so every day in the morning. Oh, let us do the practice. Let us follow it before we go to the sleep. Your mind reminds you. What it was reminding before, all the likes and dislikes and reaction, and my mom and my dad and my honey and my long list. Now that list is deleted. Shift and delete. Keyboard is there. You always have a keyboard. Shift and delete. I'm not going there. No, my honey is 100%. Then what he or she is wrong. Why I want to be wrong? What it means? Wisdom. What it means? Connecting, contributing, celebrating. What it means? The knowledge, being wise. Knowledge is 100%. Yes, I have one more issues to. So we will dig deep inside now the likes and dislikes and sorrow and the happiness in our next session. Close your eyes, my friends. Close your eyes. Be adjust and align your body. You are comfortable. Now you already know it, my friends. Being comfortable is an experience in the mind pertaining to the body, which is material, leading to an experience of sensation, comfort, and steadiness. that experience is subtler than the physical body. Oh, yes, that is subtler than the physical body. And then we take our mind naturally to the space within. But I made it very clear what it means by moving the mind within. A hardcore plus a fake scientist will say, what do you mean by moving the mind within? Everything is bone structure. No, we are not talking of it. We make it clear it's a rise in awareness. Clear. So we are comfortable. So we are carefree also. Oh, what do you mean by being carefree? So if I believe you all remember, free from all the cares of the mind, how the mind cares by unwanted, unwelcome thoughts. They should have been minimized, but it's the default setting of the mind. It has to pick up the impulses, and which causes the unwanted, unwelcome thought enters into the mind. So we say, okay, I so I don't create any like and dislike. I jump onto the lane too. I do not participate. From where these unwanted, unwelcome thoughts still enters into my mind? From the deep rooted impressions accumulated by our actions by the commander in chief, based on likes and dislikes, based on sorrow and the happiness, based on the desire, struggle, and the repeat desire, because of the world that we have created in the present life. Our master also adds, also from the previous life. That is why what I am doing at present, if it is interfered by any thought, which may be the highest and the most wonderful thought, is unwelcome. That is lane one. Lane two, I do not participate, I am separate. Do you see that I am using your language when you share your experiences? You help me. You put those phrases and the words in my head. So I'm carefree also. In that state of being carefree and comfortable. Now there are select Shanti mantras, not many of them. You can use any mantra. You can use any mantra based on your attitude, your challenges. Asatu ma satgamaya. Three times you're repeating. I'm changing the mantra. Asatu ma satgamaya. The Shanti mantra has to do with the self-enquiry. Asatu ma satgamaya. Meaning, lead me from false to the truth. Lead me from the false to the real. At any moment in your life, in any situation and relationship, we are doing a self-inquiry. We are reflecting together. Any situation, any condition, in any relationship, I become aware what is false, means constantly changing. that has a name in the shape that appears but does not exist. It gives my intellect a cognitive ability to reject and drop what is changing. My honey has changed since yesterday. I need not to be agitated, reactive to even my honey because everyone is changing. What is changing? Commander in chief, body, breath, mind, intellect, thought. We are ready to respond. This is one example. In every situation, we learn. It takes time. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Lead me from darkness to the light. Darkness, metaphorically understood as ignorance. What is that ignorance? Do you remember the phrase I just repeated 3 times? I know that. That is ignorance. In a simple word. So the knowledge means now the mind will not speak anything. I am already settled in real self. I know it. I only have a smile. But this ignorance has many layers, and that is what we discussed over the last couple of weeks. Impurities, I have to be wise means I have to contemplate and reflect. I have to follow, connect, contribute, and celebrate. Opposite, ignorance. Principle, wisdom. You see, step by step, layer by layer. How logical the steps are. Mrityormamritam gamaya Mrityorma amritam gamaya Mrityorma amritam gamaya. Meaning, lead me from mortality to immortality, death to the freedom. Who dies? That is not me. When the body was 5 years old, I was present. 10 years old, I was present. 20 years old, I was present. And still the same I. 5-year-old body died. 10-year-old body died. I will not speak after that. No, that I is still there. What is that I? That I is real self. We ignored it. That I never died. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Do you see the impact of knowledge? Now we will go for breathing, purifying the mind, looking deep inside the forehead, dropping Om Shanti, dropping Om Shanti, and start breathing quick, short, and gentle breathing into the chest. Every time you inhale, expand your ribs. Every time you exhale, contract your ribs. You should feel expansion and contraction of the ribs. Please continue. You feel that movement, you feel the expansion and contraction of the ribs. Even if it is little, it's okay. Gradually, the mind, when it is pure, will take over. Oh, I can do like this also. I can have a better expansion and contraction. Sometimes it takes time and sometimes it happens naturally. Keep on doing it. Spatial gentle breathing into the rib cage. Om Shanti continues. Body remains in the state of comfort and steadiness, and there is an inner awareness. Whether you say it's a higher awareness, inner awareness, or you say I'm still wise doing this step, the time comes we merge all the step. Finished. Journey is done. And now stop it, do nothing, experience. What do you experience? You experience, you recognize, accept the changes that is taking place. That you experience, maybe in the form of tingling, numbness, duality, or a lot of vision, colors. And now keep on doing the Om Shanti and start with the belly breathing. We are still doing for 3 minutes. I just want that everyone should be settled for 3 minutes, and sometime in some of the future sessions we can increase the duration and we'll see. We don't want the mind should react to any step. Please keep on. Continue. Belly expansion and contraction, sensation, comfort, and steadiness is maintained. Means inner awareness is there, so you are rising in awareness. Belly breathing continues. We have to pick up the objections and the reactions by the mind as an impurity not able to be expressed by the mind as thought. So there are millions and trillions of impressions buried deep inside the mind. And stop this, do nothing, recognize, accept the changes that is taking place, that is happening now, and you can see, you can just check that it's a higher awareness which is observer that is checking these changes. So you remain detached, dispassionate. Yes, start with Om Shanti, and now both together, the belly and the rib cage. It's a long, deep, and the hissing breath through both the nostrils. Long, deep, in the hissing breath. Please continue. You will find the mind is ready to do these breathing practices smoothly without any objection. There awakens the higher consciousness. You can recognize it easily. It takes time. And stop this, do nothing, start breathing deep, silent, and slow. We're not doing it faster. It is still deep, silent, and slow. First, you inhale into the belly, then into the rib cage. But as you inhale, the mind moves from the crown of the head to the tailbone, and singing mentally, Om Shanti, absorbing yourself into the space. And as you exhale, moving the mind from the tailbone, going up into the spine, reaching to the crown of the head, again saying Om Shanti. Metaphorically, symbolically, you can join this. The breath is, movement is the car, mind is the driver, intellect is the boss sitting there doing the Om Shanti. I believe you may recall we did the nyasa for many weeks. So it's not a big deal that you cannot recall it. So you, in that higher awareness, you are aware of expansion of the belly and the rib cage, doing Om Shanti, moving the mind with a singing tune into the spine, from the crown of the head to the tailbone, and from the tailbone to the crown of the head. And now leave this breathing, move the mind deep inside the heart in the cave. Visualize triangle equilateral pointing upward of any color. Then you are sinking, moving the mind on the triangle with Om Shanti. Once you find the sink, that is your awareness, mind moving with Om inside the triangle, reaching to the cave in the heart. Mind seemingly stops. You drop Shanti. You have a conscious self absorption. That is one understanding and definition of the meditation or mindfulness. I need not to say anything except shift your mind to the japa now. Om Shanti, with all the 16 points of the fingers, with, I say specifically, with the mind's eye, with the mind's ear, with the mind's tongue, with the mind's skin. And we can consciously feel energy, sensation, and also sometimes the color. Sometimes we find the fingers appears to have become so big. Om Shanti. We are not in a hurry. We 100% awareness on the one point. There you gently drop Om Shanti. And there is an upsurge of energy or some vision. Let it happen. You recognize, you accept it, then you move forward. It's not a competition how faster you do it. It is the quality. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your awareness on the right hand. Bring your awareness on the left hand. Lift here both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences. How are you, David and Jerry?
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed the lesson, the knowledge, I should say. And my practice was, I could just describe it as extreme awareness through the entire process. And then at some point, I could see this blue light, and on my breathing in, it would get bigger. And then exhale, it would get smaller, but bigger than it was before. And then ultimately, it was just sort of this indigo light everywhere. So I found myself very aware of it and noticed that. Thank you.
Beautiful. It was a complete self absorption when we find the blue light in this way. But yes, what is most important is the knowledge part. When the knowledge is 100% clear, the self absorption is easy. And that is why you said that you lived in the extraordinary awareness. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good, thank you. In prayers to Ashok. And thank you for sharing about Ashok. And the meditation was also absorbed and find that just living in this knowledge and awareness every day, it's very clear when the mind gets distracted or we get pulled out, and kind of look at those times as a gift or an opportunity
Yeah.
to say, oh, thank you for allowing me to see that maybe I'm not aware in this moment.
It's a beautiful way to present it. You see that? That is another way to put it. The moment the mind goes down during the day in any activity, in any situation, so the knowledge helps me to return to the same level and find that state of the calmness and peace. This is what is the exact journey. Thank you. How are you, Stephen?
I'm good, thank you. I was pulled into meditation almost immediately, and just listening to you and absorbing the knowledge and applying all the lessons that we've been taught and learning over the last several weeks, months, years, and I just noticed myself in this real dark space, and the space became triangular in shape. Um, and I found it interesting because the first thought that actually came to my mind in that awareness of that was creating limitations. Because if the space is supposed to be infinite, then me being in a triangular space means I'm actually putting borders around that. But I immediately let that go and realized that the space might have just been triangular in shape, but it was indeed infinite because I found myself floating in this space. And it was just endless. And it wasn't that it was just what I could see or observe, but everything was behind me. It was above me. It was below me. And I was just there, and I just went with wherever it was. And I had enormous difficulty coming out of this. And when you started chanting Om Shanti, I was like, okay, let's start coming out of this. Otherwise, we may not be able to come out of this. So it was quite different, and I'm at peace.
Beautiful. One point that I noted when you share the experiences, you saw the space above you, below you, on all the sides. That is what the mind is not able to feel or become aware because of the limitedness, because of the commander in chief. And once we have that sense of expansion of the mind, that also results into a self absorption. I had more thoughts, but that I will share as we progress. How are you, Samir?
I quickly went into deep, deep meditation. Means it took no time going into deep meditation,
Good.
and I wanted to sit some time more in this
Yeah.
because I have contemplated and thought that as I keep on understanding the principle, it becomes more easy to get into meditation because understanding helps you a lot in getting into meditation.
That's a wonderful point. That's a wonderful point, Once your mind has has a once your mind is settled, that the knowledge and the understanding takes me to a higher level of awareness and end suffering, that is the most important thing. Yes, we should keep doing the practice until the knowledge is 100% absorbed. How are you, Sam?
Oh, good. Good lesson today. I've been having a little bit of seasonal allergies, and starting to feel it a little during the meditation, but just reminded myself away from it, and made everything a lot easier.
Yes, beautiful point that anytime every day we have challenges with the body, with the mind, with the emotions, with the situation, with the relations outside. Who causes all these? Who reflects? It is the mind. The mind has reacted to a problem in the body. You keep the mind aside and keep doing it. That is what you explain. So we need a resolve to do that. Wonderful, beautiful. And how are you, Brandy?
I'm pretty good, thanks. So I found a common thread about what you said about like having a headache, and then Jerry saying that there's always this opportunity to remember to come back into space and eat this hand with these allergies, because physically I'm not feeling that great today, but I was able to stay in the meditation and find some separation.
That's beautiful. All you have shared, that gives us an opportunity in the midst of the challenges in the body, we can still live in higher awareness. That is the key point. At any time, in any situation, in any relationship, that consciousness is not destroyed. It remains as it is. And that consciousness is the real self. How are you, Vaibhav?
Thank you, sir. Sir, I'm good. Sir, like growing on this, that peace is my nature, and also accepting that mind will definitely go ups and downs.
Yeah.
So based on that, it is like clear that I have to keep my distance with it and be calm, and neither like worry or excitement. Both is not my nature. So it will keep me at like peace and calm.
Yeah. Another beautiful point that you are mentioning. Nature of the mind will not change. The default setting of the body will not change. The body will continue to grow older, even if we have not missed celebrating a single birthday. It will keep growing. Do whatever you want to. So we accept this is the way this body has to change. I'm different and separate from the body. I'm different and separate from the mind. Who am I? I'm the real self. How are you, Terry?
I felt like I'm having, I was good in space. I was appreciated the lesson,
Good.
and I have so much to say.
No worries.
But yeah, the work or a bit distracting.
No issue. We will get your experiences in the next session. But this is also important when you said that you are feeling good. When the body has certain symptoms.
I'm very aware of the unchanging self. The 5 years, 5 years old, 10 years old. I was there.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He returning to that thought and time, something you said about time, or never captured.
Terry caught the one of the main point. I was present when the body was 5 years old. The same I when 10 years old. Same I 20 years old. And still the same I. What is that I? So when I see with reference to the body, everything falls apart.
Yeah, but I am here. I'm still here.
Good. That I is still there. Wonderful. I like your smile. Wonderful. How are you, Anastasia?
Thank you. I'm good. It was very deep meditation, and just after mantra, I got so deeply, and then my mind gave a reaction that I don't want breathing.
Yeah.
And I heard in my mind your voice, ignorance, and then it disappeared, and I had a lot of tingling, even in my gums, and I think I could feel it in my teeth.
Yeah.
This tingling. So yeah, the meditation was very deep. Thank you.
Yeah, you pointed out, you see, the mind resist. Mind instantly says, no, I will not do it, and you did it. So there is a gap between, there is one point, there is a point of awareness between mind says, I will not do it, and the mind starts doing it. What is that? That is what the wisdom is. That is what the master is pointing, that am I wise to take on to this path and continue until I achieve. Beautiful journey. Thank you very much to everyone. We will meet again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. Namaste.
Namaste.